Good morning, everyone. Selamat pagi, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian. 大家早上好. It's very good to see everyone back on the virtual trading sessions that we have from KW Malaysia. My name is Jonathan. I'll be the host for you today. Before we begin, if you could hear me clearly, could you give me a 1 on the chat box? Type 1 on the chat box if you could hear me clearly. Awesome. Awesome. And we all know that the Spirit of Merdeka is coming out next week on Monday. For those from different countries, Merdeka means our Independence Day. We are celebrating Independence Day on the 31st of August. Just a quick question to everyone on this chat box here. Put in this one thing that you wish to see during this Merdeka season. Anyone, just put that in the chat box there. What's that one thing that you wish to see during this Merdeka season? COVID-free, awesome. Yep. Anyone else? What's that one thing that you wish to see happen during this Merdeka season? Yep. Awesome. Corruption-free, unity. That's right. Awesome. Anyone else? I think we got more Malaysians here than foreigners, right? There you go. Can travel overseas. Awesome. Anyone else? Awesome. You're all going to be safe. That's right. Travel to Houston. There you go. Williams, you want to travel to Houston. There you go. Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you really very much for joining us this morning. I know all of us are busy in our business. Thank you for taking time off your business to really come and learn together. When we were in Dallas last February, good team of us from Malaysia, about I think 12, 13 of us, was sitting in the room listening to these conversations of all these beautiful people. And when I say beautiful people, it includes Lance. Don't worry, Lance, I put you in that equation as well. That they were sharing stories of how they work as a team and how they deliver and build businesses that is huge, and how impactful it was to us from Malaysia when we felt that that's the model that we want to become in terms of running an organization. And we thought Lance and his team here today, we are so privileged and honored to have Lance here. I'm going to let Lance introduce himself and his whole team because that will probably do him more justice. Lance, are you there? There you go, Lance.
There we go. I just unmuted. Thank you very much for having us today. And I'm going to have my wife start us off because she's actually the founder of our organization. So, Karina, why don't you give a little history about yourself and how you got into Keller Williams and then got us in here?
Sure, absolutely. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. We're super honored to be here with everybody today. So when we got into real estate, I actually was a school teacher for about 10 years, and Lance was a corporate CFO, COO for, since I had met him actually. And we had our daughters, and I really missed being at work, but still needed something where I could still be the mom, right? And so I got into real estate in 2008 and was actually on my own for a year and needed a team, quite honestly. And then was invited to work as an interim team leader in a market center here. And about the time that was ending, Lance's company closed their whole division, and over 400 folks lost their positions, literally overnight. And so we had a lot of big decisions to make as a family, and kind of sat down and had that discussion and decided, you know what, with all of the things that he brings to the table with so much business background and experience, and with the training and communication pieces that I had, we really could actually maybe make it. So in January of 2011, we started the Loken Group, and fast forward, now we are about to have our 10-year anniversary this January. Here we are with about 90 members strong, and have come a long way in the last 10 years. And it's been a really exciting ride. Really proud of the folks we get to work with.
Awesome. Sarah St. Marceau, why don't you take next?
What would you like for me to say?
Well, how you got with the Loken Group and what your role is in the team.
Excellent. I'm Sarah St. Marceau, and I've been on the team for almost 7 years. I was in advertising and marketing for about 15 years prior to getting into real estate, was in the process of getting my license. And a mutual friend of mine and Lance and Karina introduced us, and it was perfect timing. And I started on the team as an inside sales agent, helped build that division out. And then for the last couple of years have been running the marketing department as well as our luxury division.
Sarah Detmore.
Hey everyone, good morning. My name is Sarah Detmore. I am the Vice President of the Buyer Agent team here at the Loken Group, and I've been with the team for 7.5 years now. Mentioned I run the buyer department. We have 12 buyer agents on the team, and I'm have the pleasure of working with them every day and coaching and training them to hit their production goals with the team. And my background is in sales and marketing in sports and entertainment. And I just randomly met Lance and Karina about 8 years ago. And the team was very small, I think 6 or 7 people at the time. And I knew nothing about real estate. And through some long conversations, I joined the team, and it's been the best decision I've ever made. So really excited to get to know all of you, and we're really excited to be here today. So thank you.
Christina.
Hi guys, my name is Christina Nguyen, and I have been with the Loken Group for approximately 6 years now. And prior to real estate, which I had no experience of, and most of us didn't have any experience of real estate prior to, is I have a master's in MBA in marketing, and I also have an undergraduate degree in advertising. So prior to real estate was really in advertising, just like Sarah St. Marceau. My role with the organization is I am the VP of outside sales for the listing specialist. So I train, coach, and hold accountable the agents. How I came about with the Loken Group was had a friend of a friend that knew of a buyer agent named Joy here at the Loken Group. And when I heard about the humble leadership that Lance and Karina really embody, was what I was looking for. And on top of that, Lance just had an amazing vision. And at that time, he had a spreadsheet from 2014 all the way to 2025. And that was just what really sealed the deal. I knew this guy knew what he was doing. He knows his numbers. And I was sold then. So since then, we've been here with the Loken Group.
Amy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amy Flynn. I am the Vice President of Inside Sales Division here for the Loken Group. I've been on the team for 4 years. And prior to being with the Loken Group, I actually was in the automotive industry. I come from a background, I have a bachelor's degree in hospitality management. I'd worked in sales and customer service and had worked in the automotive business for 10 years or so. And how I found the Loken Group was through a mutual friend. Actually, it was someone within Keller Williams that knew of Lance and Karina. They had sat in on conversations and training sessions and understood the mission of the Loken Group and values. And as I was looking to transition into a different industry and do something different with my background and skills, they connected me with Lance and Karina. The rest is history. I just knew this is the place that I wanted to call home, and really felt like I could make a difference with the team. And here I am.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you again for having us this morning. It is awesome to be with you guys. And so we're going to jump right into the presentation. And let me put that up here quick. Can everybody see that? So here's the Loken Group. We wanted to talk about mastering your real estate systems. husband and wife team, and how we've grown to have 90 people today. And one of the favorite quotes that we've had as we've built this organization is by Gary Keller himself. Success is built sequentially. It's one thing at a time. So one of the first things that we did when we started the Loken Group was the first week that we joined, we sat down and wrote our mission, vision, and value statements. And the way that we had our mission statement in the beginning was to be the superior real estate solution in the greater Houston market based on high customer satisfaction levels, committed to overachieving objectives, while attaining optimal success in all facets of operations. Wow, that was a mouthful, right? Man, that's how we started with our mission statement. Sarah St. Marceau, what happened about 5 years later?
A few of us on the team were taking a look at the mission statement, and as Lance mentioned, that came right out of his resume. So it meant something to Lance, but it didn't really mean much to the rest of the team. Not only that, it's really hard to memorize, and a mission statement should be a very simple explanation of a company's why. We're huge fans of Simon Sinek, and there's a book called Start With Why. If you haven't read it, we highly recommend it. He has another book called Find Your Why, equally good. And he talks about the fact that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And so when we were taking a look at our mission statement, we realized we really weren't conveying to our consumers and even to our team members why we were in business. What is it that gets us up every day? What drives us and inspires us? And so we sat down and proceeded to rewrite the mission statement. And we got the whole team involved, which was really fantastic because we felt like they needed to own a part in this as well. And after a couple of weeks and a few iterations, we all came to what you see today as our mission statement, which is to inspire a positive, lasting impact. And every one of us believes this is why we're in business. This is why the Loken Group exists. And it's one of the things that we really find is our passion. If we were selling anything, it didn't have to be real estate, we would always want to make sure that this is what we're achieving, that we're inspiring a positive, lasting impact. And we purposely left it without any kind of modifier on the end, because it doesn't have to be about real estate. It can be about teaching others, like we're here with you guys today. It can be about helping other team members achieve their goals. So that is our mission statement and how we got there.
And Karina, why don't you talk about our values and how we came up to our values, and maybe tell that story about how you can come up with values.
I'm sorry, Lance, you're breaking up. About what?
About values and the story about how you can come up with your own values.
Okay, well, so first and foremost, same dining room table, same day that we sat down and wrote the mission and vision, and apparently same level of wordiness. Lance and I had sat down originally and just kind of put our heart, honestly, on paper of just really how we wanted to show up for our clients and how we wanted to show up for our team as we grew, and how we wanted to show up for each other. I will say, honestly, and if anybody has ever heard us speaking before, the first year was rough. And so to have the guiding light of having those values to keep coming back to, and really throughout the whole last 10 years, that's exactly what it became for us, was really that guide of when we had a decision to make. It comes back to this, when we were making another hire and adding a member to our team, that came back to our values. And so we've, over I would say the first 3 years, got a lot of clarity around even how to explain what those values meant to us, and how to be able to share that with other people in a way that didn't just make sense to us, made sense to other people too. Because it's really important for us to continue communicating what our core values are. Like Sarah said, When Simon talks about starting with why, the values really are part of your how, and to explain to our clients what was most important and how we wanted to show up for them and with our teammates, with each other, is really meaningful, we've found, to our clients, because then they find that alignment as well. And it builds a lot of confidence and rapport in working with the people that we're there to serve. As far as finding your own values, there was a little exercise, and I absolutely cannot take credit for this. And in one of the classes that we were teaching for career visioning, actually, a gentleman in the back raised his hand and said he had this very brilliant MAPS coach who had given them kind of a little tip. And we practiced this over and over. And so I can share with you guys today, a lot of folks really find that it's hard for them to sit down and in just a matter of a few words, usually somewhere five or six words, we have 7, but 5 or 6 things that would really represent what's most important to you and how you operate. And so the really bright MAPS coach, again, I can't take credit for it, said to apparently this class, hey guys, I want you to do this. And maybe if you haven't figured out the values for your business yet, maybe you want to do this with us for just a minute, because it takes about 30 seconds. So here's the exercise. Now, we come from curiosity, always, not from judgment, right? That's a Keller Williams rule that we've learned. However, let's just assume, dangerously, that we've already checked out the story that we've heard, or stories, all right? And that what we've been told, we now know to be true, all right? So I just want to make sure we haven't jumped to any conclusions here, and everybody knows, still go back and check for curiosity, and really make sure that the story is true before you jump right into what I'm about to say. Because let's say you now know it to be true. I want you to write down on your paper as fast as you can, just that knee-jerk reaction. What are the things that if you went back to your business today, after we were all here together, and you found out that anyone in your business or organization had done blank, that you would fire them for on the spot, whatever that is. And it's usually only a few things. Ready, set, go. Write those few things down on your paper. Those like automatic things that you know you would do. Oh, and I love it. Some people are putting them in the chat box. That's awesome. All right, stop. It really doesn't take very long. And maybe this isn't your whole list because we caught you off guard today, but that's actually kind of part of the exercise, because your core values, the things that are innermost, I mean, we have a lot of beliefs and perspectives on things, and Keller Williams, TLG is so in alignment with all of our culture statements. But these core values, guys, these are those things that are those, like there is just no ifs, ands, or buts about it, okay? So when you look at your list, what you've written down are the negatives, right? You've written down those things you would fire for. I want you to take just the first one and turn it into the opposite, whatever the positive would be. So my guess is quite a few people probably wrote down lying, right? Lying. Well, lying, when you turn it around to be a positive, could be a lot of things. For you, it might be honesty. For someone else, they might say that's integrity, okay? For someone else, it might be vulnerability. And there's lots of things that each of us might represent whatever the opposite of that is. Well, guys, whatever you wrote as that opposite, that's probably one of your core values. And so you can work on the rest of your list. I know we're short for time today, but that gives you a great just kind of way to tackle identifying your core values and really find your how in how you're going to run your business and how to make all the big decisions as they come along.
And then our vision statement, and this is not our vision statement today, or I mean, it wasn't our original vision statement. And I've asked Amy if she'd share about what it used to be and how it is today.
Sure. Similarly to what Sarah said about the mission statement, we realized that the vision didn't really capture what we wanted to and who we really are and what we represent. And so as a team, we collectively talked through what it should look like before we changed it to what you see in front of you today. It was really more of a business plan. It was very numbers driven. It was truly what we intended to earn in business year after year after year. And that was really what we were using as our guiding force for our vision statement. We completely revamped that, and really what you see here today is what our team came up with after a couple of great conversations about really what our vision should be for the company and what we were living by.
And so that brings us to step 2 in building a business. What we did was we built with the end in mind. And our goal eventually is to have 15% market share of the Houston metropolitan area. And so we've built the organization department, all the executive team today in each of their individual departments. And they'll be talking throughout this session about each of their individual departments and how they've grown that business. Also, from day one, we treated this as a business. A lot of real estate people, when they join into the real estate industry, they start out as salespeople and then they evolve into running a business. We did it a little bit differently. We started this as a business and grown the business to where it is today. And then the number one thing that we constantly are looking for is talent, the organization that we have, and without that we have today.
Hey, Lance, you're breaking up.
I suspect it's the long distance.
Well, and Lance and I live out a little bit in the country, and with everybody being on video conferencing lately, it's even taxing the system a little bit more. So anyhow, what Lance was saying with building with the end in mind, we really, when we set those goals for the 10 years of what our business, what we really wanted to achieve, and we laid out really kind of like by volume each year what our goals were. What was really exciting for us is we set a plan, and one of my favorite things that Lance has always said is to plan your work and work your plan. And that's really exactly what we did. So we set these goals, we worked our way backwards, we had done the research. Lance spent a lot of time really looking at what the top performers in Houston had done, and nobody had ever done more than 250 million in closed volume. And so we were like, okay, well, actually had done more than 225 million. So we thought, well, 250, we should be safe. And the cool thing is iron sharpens iron, right? And so as we started to ramp up and our business was doing more and more, we had a lot of competitors here in the area that started doing more too. And it's actually been a really fun journey, and a lot of people have done a lot of great business as a result. So each year as we worked our way towards that end goal, number one, we kept future planning. So we've always stayed 10 years out in front. And number two, we had to rewrite the posters. Now, Sarah, has it been 3 or 4 revisions of that vision poster of what we would achieve each year to hit those milestones? And it's a good thing we did, because in order for us to become number one in Houston, it ended up to not be 250,000. It actually was 450,000. Or I'm sorry, 450 million, my bad. And so it's a good thing that we really just kind of had that plan to follow, and we worked it, and have amazing talent on our team that has really made that all come to life. Do we have Lance back? There he is.
Yep, I'm here. And can you see the screen? Okay, so Karina, why don't you talk about 2011, because we started out with 2 people, and then in July, we added our buyer agent, which is Tara, and that was kind of a funny little story, because our first hire was the first person that I had interaction with in my very first transaction, and we were doing a lease transaction. So Tara's been with us since July of 2011. We also hired our babysitter as a transaction coordinator, had a goal of doing 8 million our first year. And as you can see in the bottom right corner, we achieved our goal that first year. And then going on to the second year, we grew to having 8 people in the organization. We had 2 buyer agents. We had a staging consultant. We started working on listings. The first year we focused on buyers. And then the second year we started focused on listings, because we realized that the listings were the businesses should be focused on. And we hired a part-time marketing person to help us with our presentations. And we hired a part-time IT person to help us build our internet and our website, which obviously we need a little help with our home internet today, right? Sorry about that. All right, and then step 3, follow the models: listings, leads, leverage, and accountability. And we're gonna really dig deep into that. One of the biggest things that we learned at the end of our first year, we focused on buyers that first year. And then we realized that listings is what we should be focusing on, obviously, because of leads, listings, and leverage. Karina was awesome being on the phone. She loves to talk to people on the phone and set up appointments. So for me, I don't like to be on the phone. So she was awesome as far as lead generating. And then I would go out on a lot of the appointments and close the deals. And then as we continued to grow, we started leveraging off our business and brought in amazing talent like you see today. One of the key things that we've been focused on is leading with revenue. Sarah St. Marceau, do you want to go through this?
Sure. So one of the things to think about as you're building out your business is, first, who is your core audience? Who is that target that you want to go after? Like Lance mentioned, the first year they went after buyers, and then the light bulb came on in year 2, and they realized they could get more business by going after sellers. And as Lance also mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, you know, the ultimate goal is to get 15% market share. So when we think about our target audience, for us and for our business, it's actually quite broad. But for you, that target audience might look a little bit different. Maybe you want to farm your neighborhood, or maybe you have a particular niche that you want to go after. So think about that first, because that will help drive everything else. Once you know who it is that you want to go after, then think about, what does that customer journey look like? So when you're talking to buyers, know that they're already in their dreaming phase about what they want to purchase at least a year out, sometimes longer. So when we're going after buyers, we do a lot of digital advertising. We do keyword search ads on Google. We drive them into what's called an IDX site, where they can go in and search for homes and favorite them. Amy's going to talk about our ISAs. So all of our leads drive into the ISAs, and they can cultivate them until they're ready to meet with an agent. When we're going after sellers, that journey looks a little bit different. Oftentimes, they're trying to find an agent, or they might be trying to figure out what their home might be worth. And so we do a lot of digital ads in that space as well to drive in the seller leads. And then always make sure you have metrics for success. So how do you know that your marketing is succeeding? Of course, leads are a great measure that your marketing is working and bringing people in. But at the end of the day, if they're not quality leads, none of the money that you have spent on your marketing will really matter. So when we talk about leading with revenue, what we look for is, at the end, are we getting at least a 3-to-1 return on investment? What that means is, for every dollar that we're spending in marketing, are we getting at least $3 back? And if we're hitting that as a minimum, of course, we want to get, you know, double that or even triple that. But if we're hitting that as a minimum, we know that our marketing is not only effective, but it's efficient. Next slide. So this is a summary of what our lead sources looked like at the end of last year. As you can see, a significant amount of our business actually comes from what we call inbound sources. We work with a lot of builders who are building new construction all over Houston, and we represent them on the listing side. And as a result, we get a lot of referral business from them as well. We also do a lot of TV and radio, and that drives in a significant amount of our seller leads also. And then, as I mentioned, we're doing a lot of digital marketing. SmartZip is the home valuation. What's my home worth? We do digital ads and postcard mailings for that. And then if you look in the red, this is an area for us that we're really trying to grow more than we have in the past. This is the amount of business from our sphere of influence, referrals that we're getting from our forever clients, as well as repeat business from our forever clients. And we call our clients forever clients, not past clients, because we want to keep working with them over and over again. So again, as you're looking at your lead sources, you know, this could change from year to year, but just make sure you're always looking at that ROI at the end of the day. Now our marketing team has grown quite significantly since Lance made his first hire. I'm the VP of marketing, so I run our marketing division. We have a communication director. She does all of our email marketing, as well as manages our CRM, which is Infusionsoft. And creative media specialist, she's our lead graphic designer. She created this PowerPoint. She creates everything that looks beautiful and amazing. We have 2 copywriters actually. So because we do we have about 300 active listings at any given time. We need somebody that's writing all the public remarks. Both of our copywriters work on blogs, press releases, as well as email marketing content and our website content. And then we have another graphic designer who works on brochures and templated print materials for us. We have a social media and digital marketing specialist, and we have a videographer who does all of our listing videos and internal marketing videos. So this is where we are today. Keep in mind, we didn't start there, so don't let this chart overwhelm you.
Amy, you're up.
So as Sarah mentioned, our inside sales agents are a huge part of our success and certainly our prospecting activities. Our inside sales agents are responsible for handling I would say 99% of the business that comes into the Loken Group. We handle inbound calls and web leads, as well as all outbound prospecting. We also, through that program, we want to train people. So as they come into our team, we have a sales launch program. That's our first 100 days, where we're really focused on ensuring that we're giving everyone the fundamentals they need to be highly successful in this business. That includes the scripts and objection handling, forming great habits, and then performance metrics. We're always looking at our numbers. We're holding our team accountable at a high level to achieving the results that they ultimately want in their business. And certainly we have standards for all of our different departments as well. And if we were to hire someone that is going to be ultimately in any production role, whether that be inside sales, buyer agent, or listing agent, they're going to go through a very similar sales launch program to ensure we're setting everyone up for success. And this is just a map of the current inside sales agent team. As I mentioned, I'm the VP of the inside sales. We have a director of inside sales as well, who partners with me in business to run this division. And then we have a number of inside sales agents, as well as some specialist positions. They just handle different areas of the business for us, and virtual assistants as well. As far as our lead management goes, it's our inside sales agent's responsibility to capture the business, again, from however that comes, inbound or outbound, put into our database and contact and connect with them. They're responsible for cultivating that lead until it converts and we set the appointment. We give all of our outside agents all of the detailed pre-qualified information. So we're setting qualified appointments that we know have a high chance of keeping and ultimately signing to work with our business. Trello is the communication tool that we use. I see here we've got a Trello fan. That's awesome. It's the communication tool we use for our entire company. Outlook is the system with which we do all of our email communication. We ultimately are looking to close our clients. We have a number of different tools that help us do that. We maintain the communication so that we have a seamless experience. And then as we close on that deal, they would go back to the inside sales team as forever clients for us to continue to cultivate and maintain that relationship along the way, right? Until they're ready to help, that we can help serve them again. Lance, do you want me to cover this as well?
No, Amy can go. Yes, please.
Perfect. So talking through lead conversion, these are some of the tools that we have that help us convert that business at a high level. We want to do everything we can when we get in front of our prospects to ensure that we can convey that we're the right team to ultimately help them buy or sell their property. We have these documentations. It's a commitment to sell. It's what we use on the listing side, and a representation commitment on the buy side. One of the things we do very well is we analyze our data and we look for gaps. Where do we have gaps in conversions that we could be strategically focusing on to improve in our business, right? The more you can chip away at your conversions and increase them, the more business you can earn with the same amount of time, right? We weren't looking to go on double the appointments. We wanted to double the conversions. And this tool, it was a simple one-pager. It didn't have any legally binding effect, yet it allowed us to see with great clarity if this prospect was ready to move forward with us, or if they had an objection that we still needed to uncover and overcome. So this really was a game changer for us in helping drive our conversions up to ultimately help more people in real estate. The other tool that we found to be really game changing in our business is about the experience. We wanted to convey to our clients how important it is for us to take great care of them, and also set expectations around what they can expect in working with us. The three main points are that we're going to be solution-based, we're going to be proactive, and we're going to be your advocate along the way. We know that things will happen, and yet we want to ensure that they understand how important it is for us to be great communicators, to proactively think about what might come up to help limit those surprises, and how to make sure we were being honest and attentive and putting their interests first. Us being able to clearly communicate to that to our clients through our conversations was a way that we could ultimately increase our conversions, because we were being so upfront and transparent about what they could expect in working with us.
I love what Amy shared, guys. If there's anything that you take out of this presentation, we would highly suggest that it would be the commitment to sell, as well as the buyer document and the experience. I got to share, Lance, if you don't mind going back to the slide, please. I just want to share the positive impact that Amy's amazing idea has truly impacted the conversion rate for the listing agents. And when I'm talking about the conversion rate, I mean from the time that they go to the appointment and the time that the seller decides to list with us. So we really had a conversion rate of 43%. Our goal was 70. And because of this document, this piece of paper that didn't hold any legal binding commitments from our clients, it increased our conversion rate by at least 12%. It jumped all the way up to at least 56, 57, 58%, which is a huge game changer for us. So we can't stress enough this amazing idea. And the psychological reasoning behind that is a lot of times we utilize it as a tool to close. Sometimes at a listing consultation, a seller may say, yeah, everything sounds good. What you have to share sounds good. Okay. And when it comes to getting them to sign something, it's the act of anchoring the commitment. And especially if it's an expired listing and an agent calls them the next day saying, hey, I can get your house sold for you, let's meet. The seller would say, I've already signed something. Even though it's not a legal document, by sharing that truly solidified our opportunity to convert them at the appointment. And also the experience has been a major tool in asking for referrals and having our clients be held accountable, as well as them hold us accountable to serve them at the highest level that we possibly can. And so this is just amazing tools that we would encourage you to save. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is on the listing side. So here on the listing side, how it operates is it's 55% of our business. And how we track that is the listing agents are held accountable for tracking their weekly numbers. We rely heavily on the CGI model that Keller Williams has provided, which is the Career Growth Initiative spreadsheet. And they track the listing appointments they've gone on, to the listing agreement signed, to how many contracts they get executed, to how many have closed. Now, as far as the weekly GCI, we as the Loken Group, the listing agents don't really focus on that. We just know that as long as they go on, they know exactly how many appointments they need to go on, how many sellers must list with them on a weekly, monthly, and annual year-to-date basis. And as long as they're meeting those metrics and KPIs, which is key performance indicators, their business and their GCI will be there. So people tend to ask, well, what's the split for the listing agents? Over here, most transactions are 3% on each side, 3% for the buyer side, 3% for the listing side for commission. The listing agents on our team make 15%. And so sometimes that varies in price. Now, the reason why we don't have them focus on that is because we basically say we can guarantee you $100,000 to $140,000 of an annual income. Would you trust us in our process in getting you there? So what that translates to is our listing agents close on average 10 listing closings, 10 to 15 a month. And so they take about 20 listings a month and they close about 10 to 15 a month. What that happens is Amy's team, who she manages the inside sales agents, they do a phenomenal job with really digging deep on motivation for these sellers. They ask great, powerful questions. What's about selling? What would it do for them? They truly are vetting out those sellers. So by the time the listing agents go on the appointments, they have all the information laid out, how much the seller is expecting to sell their house for, what's their mortgage balance, what upgrades have they done to the house, how they rate their own home, and what specifically are they looking for in an agent. With those key questions, which you'll find on our website, www.tlgshares.com, has been truly a game changer. By the time the listing agents go to a listing consultation, they know nearly everything and extra that they need to know with the sellers to make it a win. The information is very key and motivation is absolutely important. We are here not to run free comps or CMAs. We're here to actually help serve our clients and really get them to where they want. How the transaction works is basically what the listing agent's responsibility is that they go on the appointment, so they need to run the comparables ahead of time. Lately, since Houston is a shifting market, we have been shifting down. Up until recently with COVID, we are currently experiencing a temporary seller's market. Either way, our listing agents run live comps in front of our clients. We like to show them the competition around them, how the market has shifted, the absorption rate. So they really like this interactive feel. So we typically use a surface when we show the appointments. And then once we get them to list with us, we complete a type form, which is very much like a Google document. And basically from there, they complete the documents. They sign the type form. It's what's their name, what's the best way to communicate, what's the list price. All of that is on tlgshares.com. And so by the time our listing agents are finished with a consultation, our team will already have received that completed type form, and they will know to send the documents via dot loop, which will soon to be DocuSign, to our clients. It's very seamless. So to summarize, the listing agent's responsibilities is to know how to run comparables, show up to the appointment, get the sellers to convert with us, and also to when the listing goes active, they have any price reduction or adjustment conversations. And basically that's it. Due to COVID, we don't really attend closings. The next slide here is about luxury listings. For us, luxury is $650,000 and up. The consultation process, how it's different is what Sarah St. Marceau and I usually do is we do a marketing pitch. We explain to them our buyer profile, who the buyer is going to be for their specific luxury listing, what's our strategy in marketing towards them, what specific campaigns, and what sort of marketing platforms that we're going to utilize, which includes social media, videography, 3D virtual tour, lifestyle video. The pre-listing process is very similar. What you'll see here on the right-hand side is basically what I just talked about, which is the property persona brief. So from there, we really tackle the luxury listings with a different approach from more of a marketing and advertising standpoint, focusing on a specific demographic target market, the particular objectives, and what we're going to utilize to market and find the right sellers. The next slide is going to talk about and show you the organizational chart of the listing department. You'll see that here at the top, that's the VP of Outside Sales. We currently have 8 listing specialists. The vision that Lance has for the listing department is eventually we'll get to 40 listing specialists where we keep them in regionally with all 5 parts of Houston. And so just to give you an example, driving from one end to the other end of Houston can take up to 2 hours of drive time, no traffic, going roughly 70 miles an hour. So Houston's a pretty big city. And so the ultimate goal is to get everybody regionalized so that we can work as efficiently as possible. And that's the listing team here at the Loken Group.
So let's talk about the buyer team with the Loken Group, guys. So again, I'm Sarah Detmore. I'm the VP of our buyer agent team, and we have a lot of similarities on how our buyer team is structured. And just like Christina mentioned on the listing side of our business, and it's important for you guys to know that we keep our listing team and our buyer team completely separate within our organization. So our listing agents do not work with buyer clients, and our buyer agents do not work with listing clients. We are very much specialized in the roles that we're in our production capacity. So you can see here on the screen that roughly 45% of your business should come from home buyers. And the way that we look at our monthly and annual goals on the buyer team is we start with the end in mind. So around about a month ago, actually, I sat down with each of my buyer agents and we talked through where they want to be financially at the end of 2021. And we took what they want to earn in their net commission and reverse engineered those numbers to determine what their unit goal would be for 2021. And so we then took that number and broke it down over 12 months to where we now have a very clear path of how many buyer units each buyer agent needs to close per month to total up to that annual goal that's going to get them to their financial goal and their net commission. And then as the leader of our buyer agent team, one of my responsibilities is to meet with them weekly and discuss their key performance indicators, like Christina indicated. And we look at where they are in their business against their goal, look for those gaps and identify where we need to spend some focused attention to help them close their gap and hit their goal overall. So on average, a buyer agent with the Loken Group would be responsible for closing 48 buyer transactions in 1 year, which equates to 4 closings per month. And some of my higher producing buyer agents are on track to close anywhere from 60 to 80 buyer units so far this year. So we do have that minimum standard though of 4 closings per buyer agent per month to total 48 closings per buyer agent minimum for the year. And we have 12 buyer agents total working towards those minimum goals. Our consultation process is very similar to the listing consultation process where, well, let's back that up, Lance. What happened? There we go. So our buyer consultation process is very similar to the listing consultation process where the inside sales agents set the buyer agents up on qualified buyer consultation appointments. Right now, the majority of our buyer consultations take place in a virtual space on Zoom or over the phone. And our buyer agents take them through about an hour-long consultation where we discuss the current housing market in the Houston area. We discuss the home buying process from start to finish and how our team how our team works through that home buying process and navigates our buyers through that process. We talk about the buyer's needs and go through a needs analysis, a very detailed needs analysis with our buyers, because we really want to understand what their ultimate goal is, and then help explain to them how our team process will fit within the goals that they're wanting to achieve. And so really the main things we want to take away from that buyer consultation is the buyer's time frame and the buyer's motivation. Because as you all are well aware, when we meet with a buyer, like Sarah St. Marceau indicated earlier in this presentation, we often capture our buyers very early in their process. We call that the dreaming phase. So it's common for our buyer agents to meet with a buyer who is looking for information very early in their process that needs to be educated on what the process looks like and what the time frame would look like for them to buy. So if one of our buyer agents meets with a buyer who isn't in a space to purchase for the next 6 months to a year, that's okay. We want to be a resource for them and still meet them for that appointment, yet we're not going to take them out to show houses until they're about six weeks to 8 weeks before they have to be under contract and close on their home. With our transaction process, our team has 3 buyer transaction coordinators that handle all of our buyer files from contract to close. So once our buyers do go under contract and we have a executed contract on a property, our buyer agents are still very much involved in the negotiations of the repairs and negotiations in the event of an appraisal issue. Yet our transaction coordinators are the ones that are doing most of the communication between our buyer clients, their lender, the title company, to really make sure that we hit all of our contract deadlines, and we for sure don't want to miss a closing date. So they're kind of our behind the scenes ladies who make sure that all of our contract deadlines are met and that we close on time. And they make us look good, which is great. And a couple of years ago, within our team, we kind of pioneered a role called a buyer partner. It was an evolved role from a showing assistant, and this kind of happened after I came back from maternity leave for the first time 5 years ago after I had my son. And I wanted to find a way where a buyer agent could still maintain a high level of production. Of course, my circumstances outside of work had changed because I had just become a mom. And so I had to find a way to still keep my production at a high level and also still be home in the evenings and on weekends to be with my family. So we introduced this role called a buyer partner, which was a one-on-one relationship with a buyer agent and the buyer partner. And that buyer partner was there to support in an administrative and a showing capacity. And the first year we had a buyer agent and buyer partner relationship, we saw that production capability for that buyer agent to really almost double from what our standard requirements were for a buyer agent in production. So that was a really neat role that we pioneered, and noticed that we didn't want to call them a showing assistant. We don't like to use the word assistant on our team. So we created the role called a buyer partner, which has been a huge piece of our business for leverage as well on the buy side. And the next slide is just a quick snapshot of our organizational chart on the buyer side. Of course, I'm the VP of our buyer agent team, and we have 12 buyer specialists that all work with buyers on our team. So that's all about the buyer team.
And then Elena's usually along with us when we do these presentations, and she's up in Florida on vacation this week. So the operation, which was
Hey, Lance, your internet's spotty.
Partners.
Man?
Handle the might go to the listing site and take. Yep.
Can you guys hear us okay? So one of us are going to take over. So what Lance was talking about here is, unless someone else wants to take over, is we utilize Trello from an operations standpoint. And Trello is our major communication platform to keep all of our files. You'll see here that Elena's role as VP of Operations is she has a couple of listing partners. They're basically all transaction coordinators, and we change them. Okay, going back to the operations slide, they have metrics that they measure, and their goal on the listing side is how many listings they can activate on the market as quickly as possible. And so those are the metrics that they also measure as far as the efficiency goes. And from a buyer operations process, just like what Sarah Detmore talked about earlier, is that they do everything they can to facilitate the transaction, making sure that deals are moving forward, especially with COVID. We have been running into a lot of appraisal issues and closing delays. So Elena's team does a phenomenal job with that. She also manages the client care division, which is tied closely with client experience. And if Karina wants to talk about the next slide, she certainly is going to talk about that after we go over the org chart of the operations team. Without the operations team, they play a key role with this. You'll find that there's listing partners to the left corner. Then we have virtual assistants that help us with green sheets compliance, helps us with showing feedback when there's a showing for a listing, as well as following up with some other administrative items. Other things is the buyer transaction coordinator, and also she manages the digital media coordinator, the dispatch, operations, and photographer. Dispatch has been a huge key role. Imagine how Amazon delivers their packages or FedEx. The dispatching on our team that Elena manages helps dispatch the listing appointments, the photographers, putting signs on yard signs in the market. Next, Karina is going to talk about client experience and how that's navigated through. Okay. So we have a pretty robust client. Can you guys hear me?
You're breaking up.
Amy, you want to go ahead? I think your internet's
sure.
better.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Amy,
as far as the client experience goes, it's important to us to make sure that we get feedback so we know where we're winning and we know where our opportunities are for improvement. We've been really intentional about how do we get that feedback from our clients and when's the right point in the transaction that would be important to know how they're feeling. So we've mapped that out. We've created a division. We have a stellar talent in there who really her one thing is the client experience. And as a team, we developed this process to go, what would be the right time? So you can see here, we've mapped that out for you as far as when on the buy side and when on the list side, would it make sense for us to be asking for feedback to see how we're doing and where we can improve? We send surveys through our Infusionsoft, which is our CRM, our database, our management tool that Sarah mentioned earlier. We also make phone calls, so sometimes the survey might be a quick call with a couple of questions. We also send a review link at the end of our transaction asking for them to provide us feedback and a great review should they have had a great experience on our team. We want to make sure we thank them, so when they are giving us survey feedback, we make a point to say thank you and send a Starbucks gift card for those reviews online.
So this here is you're going to see the TLG organization of production team and also the TLG organization of back office, which includes Lance and Karina, the VP of operations, the president of the luxury portfolio, as well as director of talent, who does all of the hiring for us, director of finance and director of commercial properties, and director of IT as well. Next, we as a team are going to be talking about culture and going through talking about why buy-in is really key from a culture. And Sarah Detmore is going to talk about the rest of what's on the slides.
So I would love to share what culture means to me. To me, culture is something that you feel. It's not something that you see. And I went to college at a university here in Texas where it was a school very rich in culture and tradition. And we had the saying, when it comes to culture, from the outside looking in, you don't understand it. And from the inside looking out, you don't explain it. And I feel the same way about the culture on our team. And it's been really important as our team has grown as quickly as we have, that we maintain that same feeling of culture that really is like a family. We have so much fun when we're together. It's almost like sickening how much fun that we do have and how well we all get along. And at the same time, you know, I love all these people who are in this call, on this call with us from our team and just our team in general, because we're all so supportive of not only our business goals, but also personal goals. Every year we get together and do vision boards for the following year and put our personal goals on those vision boards, and we celebrate those wins, you know, whether it's a small win or a big win, personal win or a business win, we all get together and celebrate those things together. So that's all I have to say about culture. So who's next?
Amy.
Yeah, I really mirror what Sarah says. It certainly is an awesome feeling when you work with people that you love, that you view as family. We have so much fun together. And one of the things that I love about what it says here is that it really is a we mentality. We don't have people on our team who are out for themselves or who, you know, are looking for their personal success above the success of others and of the team. We really do put the team first, and that shows in everything that we do. Again, I just think for us, the core values that lead into our culture, they go hand in hand, and certainly is part of what really makes this place a little special for me.
I guess I'm next. So culture was the one of the main reasons why I joined the Loken group. I was looking for a place that had a very robust culture, and I knew from the minute I walked into the office to meet with Lance and Karina and see their operations that they were steeped in culture. And it's been a running theme for the team throughout. And it really comes from the top. Lance and Karina believe in our team. They believe in our success, and they would do anything for us to help us be successful. And we in turn want that for our people as well. And again, you know, culture really has to come from the top first, and they've really modeled that for the team. You know, they empower us to make decisions, and they empower us to fail forward and see it as a learning experience and not a failure of us. And I think it's really telling when the leaders of the organization put their people first. That really says a lot about the culture and about our team and why we're here.
And just to finish off of why this is so important is because one of the things Lance and Karina do really well is they rather us ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. They absolutely empower us to make the best decisions with the end goal in mind, helping move the business forward. And when you can let go and allow your team members believing in them and allowing them to take over the business, that's where you can take the business to any level, and you will become unstoppable with anything you put your mind to. As long as you serve with your heart, with good intentions, staying within integrity, and always having love. And that's one of the things that we love about Lance and Karina and their humble servant leadership. And that is why we're here today from where we're at. And we are so honored and humbled to be a part of this presentation with you guys this morning. What questions do you have?
Thank you so much for sharing.
Can everybody hear me okay, or is it still static?
Lance, you're kind of static right now. I think both Lance and Karina is kind of static a little bit. I got a couple of questions I would like to ask if you don't mind, and I kind of throw it to the floor and open for anyone to kind of ask questions. And one of the big things, one of the big ahas in my head is how united and how aligned everyone is. Now, in you guys running your own separate so-called departments or division or teams, or when you have a particular team member who is kind of not coming into the standards that you have set, how do you approach that? How do you what do you do? Yeah. Anyone? Yeah.
You can answer that.
Yeah, I'll take that. So standards are really important in our business. It's how we've achieved success at a high level. It's how we continue to grow and push the boundaries of what's possible. And there are definitely times where we have people who maybe are struggling to get to those standards or struggling to be in alignment with where we are headed. We have weekly accountability meetings. So we meet with everyone on our team. They have a coach that they meet with on a weekly basis. That's going to allow us to stay really connected to them, as well as constantly, kind of analyzing the business and their personal goals to make sure that we're on track. Should we find someone who is beginning to struggle, we would have a conversation that would include an action plan in order for us to come up with some activities together and some coaching opportunities of what do they really need to focus on that would help ensure that they get back into alignment, that they are focusing on the right parts of the business or their personal, and that they're moving forward in the direction that we need them to in order to maintain our standards. And that's something that they would work through with their coach. Should they still not be achieving what would be necessary for our team and necessary with our standards, we would then be doing a performance improvement plan. That's a little bit more formal conversation that just ensures that we've made it very clear of what would have to happen for them to really be a productive member of TLG, what tools and resources they might need from us, what activities we would want to see them produce, and how we would intend to hold them accountable to doing it. That's typically what it takes in order for someone with clarity who really has the right intentions and who really is committed to being on our team. Sometimes it just takes that extra step of creating a performance improvement plan for them in order for them to achieve the results in their business and ultimately get back into alignment with our standards. Should they not, that then becomes a different conversation about whether or not that person is the right fit and if we're a win-win for them in business.
Is there a specific standard timeline that you allow, that an allowance of timeline that you allow, that kind of grace period given? Do you guys have like a prescribed timeline for this?
Good question. I don't know that it's that easy to prescribe. I think it would very much depend on where the gap is and how much time it would take to turn that around, right? If it was something that you could quickly measure, that you've seen success, you might do a 2-week action plan or a 2-week performance improvement plan. If it's something that's driven off of conversions, let's say, there's not going to be that significant of a difference that quickly. If it's a skill gap, it's going to take time to build those things. And that might look more like a 1-month action plan, right? So I think it would be a little bit individual based on the circumstances.
Got it. So so if, let's say, the process of I'm failing to hit my appointment goals, which is kind of like the most basic stuff that we need to achieve, what would that kind of time frame look like? This as an example, so that I think the audience need to kind of understand. And it sounds like you guys are very serious about hoping that standard will be hit as quick as possible. What would you do if I'm failing to hit my appointment standards for the next 1 or 2 months?
Sure. I think for us, that would look like a conversation where we would have some, probably a 1-month action plan that would include some very clear activities around role playing and what our expectations would be on a weekly basis for role play. Potentially some additional coaching around their skills or scripts. Maybe it's around time blocking activities and reviewing your time blocking with your coach to make sure that you're really putting the right amount of time in your business to achieve the results. It could also then become you have 1 month for us to then review if you've gotten back to standard. That would give someone time. And for me, I can speak only for myself, but I would then be having weekly check-in meetings. So it would be important that you stay connected to make sure that they're headed on in the right direction.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. That's a very good explanation. Guys who are on the audience, Lance, I think you are back, right, Lance? You are back on your mobile phone.
Hopefully my cell phone works now.
Yeah, it works very well, Lance. I think I really admire you, Lance, that you could just sit back and everything happens by itself. It feels that, like, even in training, that happens by itself. So I envy you a lot, Lance. I hope that some of us will be able to build a business of this size and this amazing team that you have done. Lance, if I could ask you a question, Lance, how did you start? I mean, you started from both you and Karina started from like a single agent perspective. What was that mindset of transition that you did from moving from that that single agent to having this vision of this large team? What was that mindset shift that you have to make in order for you to start building this kind of business in this size?
Well, it really honestly wasn't a shift right from the beginning. We set our minds to being business minded right from the beginning and set out a path for us to achieve what we wanted to achieve, which was to become #1 in Houston at that time, and subsequent to that, then 15% market share. But we wanted to have departments. So we had a buyer department, a listing department, an ISA department, as you can see. And then as we found talent, which you can see the amazing talent we have here today, as we found that talent, we built out each of those departments with their leadership in mind. So it's really been from day one that we set out to run the business the way that it is. Like I said early on, a lot of people look at this from a sales perspective to start, and then they transition to a business perspective.
Got it. For those, we have a lot of people in our audience are still in the level 1 and level 2 of the MREA model, that kind of concept. What are some of your advice to them right now to kind of think about having that bigger vision mindset? What are your advice for them?
So one of the big things that we did early on was you take an onion and you take yourself as that onion. And as you start to grow in your capacity, once you start getting 80% capacity with what you're doing, the activities you're doing, you should start peeling off that onion and leveraging off the activities that is, one, not your expertise, or something that you want to leverage off and have somebody else complete. So for instance, Karina's amazing at lead generating, and both Karina and I are horrible with paperwork. So we needed to leverage off the paperwork piece of our business. So we found a transaction coordinator to take care of that. At the same time, as we continued to grow, we started hiring buyer agents, and the buyer agents took care of the clients that were looking to buy homes. And then I could focus on the listing side. And then we grew to the next level. We had a marketing person, we had photography, all these expertises. As we continued to grow, we peeled off the onion until we got to the one thing that we were amazing at doing, or was our individual strength. And for me, listings is my strength, and closing transactions. Karina's fantastic as an inside salesperson and lead generating and working with people. As we continued to grow, we would leverage off each of those pieces until we got to that core strength.
Awesome.
And use that 80-20 rule. You know, once you get to 80% capacity, you should start finding that replacement for you.
Right. And Gary Keller talks about it a lot. If the business has come to a point of not growing anymore, you're likely missing a relationship, right? So let's just kind of switch gears a little bit. COVID-19 has hit all of us really hard around the world, and I know in the US right now it's really getting crazier and crazier, and there are a lot of stuff going along around the US. And I understand that you are in one of the best years of production for this year. Am I right to say that?
We're going to definitely beat last year's business. How far we beat it you know, we're still working through that, but it is definitely an experience unlike anything other. We've had 3 record-breaking months, and we're hoping for a 4th record-breaking month. So it's definitely been good. I think Sarah St. Marceau can really talk well to what we did in the beginning when COVID started, and then as we transitioned into where we are today, because we were getting together, the exec team was getting together on a daily basis. So Sarah, why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So at the beginning of the pandemic, we really saw everything kind of come to not quite a screeching halt, but really people weren't sure what to do. Buyers weren't wanting to go into homes, sellers weren't necessarily wanting to go into homes. And so we had to really work quickly to meet everybody where they're at. So we developed COVID marketing, essentially. We created showing instructions. We basically said, you know, for those people who do want to come and look at a property, we're going to have all these safety things here for you: gloves, Lysol wipes. The sellers are going to be turning on all the lights, and all you have, you know, the doors will be open. You just have to come in and please wear a mask. So that was part of it. And the other thing that we did was we immediately let everybody know that we were virtual. All of our consults could be virtual. So we were running digital ads on Facebook. We had social media posts going everywhere. We sent emails out to our entire database. I know Amy and her team of ISAs were calling everybody. So there was an immediate outpouring to make sure that we were making our buyers and sellers as comfortable as possible in the space that we were in. I'm trying to think of what else. We did so much, and it feels like a year ago, like 5 months ago.
Well, and maybe Amy could talk about the CARES call, the concern calls that we had, because that was huge.
Sure. Yeah, we knew it was important to connect with our forever clients and those people that we have relationships with, including our active clients. And yet we also knew that it wasn't the right time to be prospecting for new business. So much uncertainty happening so fast. There was a lot of anxiety. I know you guys were feeling it too. So it just was that way for everyone. And we really took the approach of coming from care and just checking in and just seeing how someone is doing, and if they needed anything, if there was anything we could do to help them feel more secure or safe or comfortable. And so that was really the priority for the inside sales team. We knew it wasn't generating us business today. However, we knew what we were gaining was a lot of relationships and ambassadors, really.
Well, and the other thing that I forgot to mention is that, you know, our photographers really dug in, as well as other team members, in creating videos really on the fly. Lance went out and bought a bunch of gimbals so that we could go out and just do these really quick virtual tours. And they even our videographer created a step-by-step process for those sellers that didn't even want anyone in their home, so they could create a video that we could then post on the MLS. So it was a lot of like thinking on the fly and having every team member help us figure out how to get through this.
Lance, could you just give us a perspective of the volume of your business for this year right now? Like, how many transactions are you guys nailing this year up to now, and where do you think you will end in 2020? What would that look like from a business perspective, so that everyone in this audience can have a perspective of the size of your business, if you don't mind?
Sure. We're right around 1,600 transactions that we've closed so far this year, and we'll end up the year right around 2,500, maybe a little above that, and we'll do about 650 million in total production.
And you're saying that this is a better year than last year, am I correct?
Yes, and we just had 3 record-breaking months. One record was broken in July, and then another one in August. We're going to break another one in September. So we hope the tradition continues for the rest of this year.
Wow, that's just so awesome. What do you think is happening to your competition in your area right now? Why do you think that you are now hitting so many all-time highs record for this past few months right now? Is it because there are more transaction in the market? Is there lesser transaction in your market, or is there lesser competition in the market? What's going on here from the market perspective in your market right now?
Sure. So just to illustrate just a little bit, what's really cool is we track our numbers every single day from an actives on the market as well as pendings. And we actually started this back in 2016, tracking these daily numbers. So as soon as the pandemic hit, obviously business really dried up for the short term. And then as the city started opening up a little bit in June, there was a floodgate of buyers that were wanting to purchase homes. However, for the sellers, they were extremely apprehensive and didn't want to put their home on the market. So you had like a perfect storm. Sellers not wanting to put their home on the market. You have all these buyers, really wanting to look for homes and purchase homes, and they were going in opposite directions. So fast forward to today, we have 25% less listings available on the market, and we have over 30% homes pending. And so, and it's getting further and further of a disparity on a daily basis. So we're hoping that the sellers eventually will start catching up. But we were entering into a buyer's market when COVID-19 occurred, and now we've drastically gone to the seller's market. So I think the perfect storm occurred. At the same time, we've had a really good run of active listings for ourselves, and it's starting to get depleted a little bit, but our inside sales organization is doing an amazing job of really focusing on getting listing leads. And Sarah St. Marceau, with her marketing background, they're going after the leads to generate additional listings. One of the things that we started focusing on actually just this past week, Sarah St. Marceau and I sat down and we're looking at this new mechanism where we're actually going after buyer leads. And we're kind of doing this as a backdoor to get additional listing leads. Because if you have a house if you're looking to purchase a home, hopefully you've got a house that you've got to get sold so that you can purchase that home. So we've really made a concerted effort of going after buyer leads right now because there's a whole lot of people that are looking to purchase a home.
Awesome. It sounds like that there's so much tenacity and there's so much focus on really wanting to be that number one in the Houston market area, wanting to earn that market share. In those journeys or in some journeys that you have gone through where sometimes it's tough to just keep going and keep pressing on, how do you keep yourself and keep the whole team aligned and keep focusing on that goal? What do you guys do to maintain that stamina to keep focusing on that goal, to just drive forward? What do you do, Lance?
Well, it's really not Karina or myself. It's really the entire executive team. We all focus on that together. The other one thing that we do is pretty huge for our organization. We do a planning advance every September and prepare for the next upcoming year. And so our year, from our perspective, starts October 1st because any leads that come in October 1st, they're probably going to close in January, February, and March. So we honestly start lead generating in October for the business in like upcoming 2021. The other thing is we create our GPS or our goal, our 3 priorities and our 5 strategies for each of those priorities. We formulate that in September so that we have a roadmap or a game plan on what we want to achieve in the upcoming year. And then we have little groups that get together on a weekly basis, staying focused on achieving the goal and achieving those priorities so that we're not just doing this as an individual, we're doing this as an entire organization with small groups maintaining and making sure that the ship is headed in the right direction.
Wow, awesome. Well, I mean, I think your stories and your team story has been such an inspirational inspiration for us, actually. I don't know how many of us in this group, for those audience here right now Why don't you share some of the ahas that you have gotten from today's session? If you can, just key in the chat box. What are some of the ahas that you have kind of got that light bulb in your head right now? Anyone? What's some of the ahas there? Come on, let's just put some ahas on the chat box, or some questions if you can. Great teamwork, absolutely. The onion thing, awesome. Keeping the team tight and focused, absolutely. Leveraging on each other's skills, absolutely, because someone's weakness can be taken away by someone's strength. Culture is the key. Teamwork is amazing. Secure all the deals, awesome. Culture is something that you feel, not what you see, awesome. Efficient organization. There you go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Ask for forgiveness first rather than permission first. I suspect that's going to be a lot of this conversation about forgiveness in my team right now. I can smell it right now. I can smell it right now. Thank you guys for doing that for us, but I could smell it right now. There you go. Use the talents for others to grow as an organization. High standards, awesome. Well organized, good team, powerful members. Great job. Okay, cool. Guys, I'm going to have a quick announcement slides to our audience here, and I'll come back to you guys so that each of you has some time to kind of give us your last thoughts to everyone here. So virtual support, could I have that announcement up, please? Now, for some of our guests who are here today, if you are here for the first time, some of the things that we talk about, some of the organizational models that we talk about are really based on the MREA book written by Gary Keller. So these are the books that we highly prescribe for those who really want to grow and shift their business right now. Send us an email at hello@Redfield, and we will be able to engage with you to kind of explain how do we get these books and all that, and it's available for you to order right now. All agents, you can go to your MCAs and order through your MCAs if you need to. Next slide, please. We will be having a state of our company on 3rd of September on Thursday, 8:45 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. I would encourage all of you to join the state of the company. We are going to hope to rally all 848 of our associates to come in. We have a special guest of honor, Althea Osborne, will be dialing in directly from Colorado. She's actually in her vacation home in Colorado right now. And she will be sharing with us her journey in Keller Williams and how she has grown a growth share tree or a profit share tree that's giving her an income of about $1 million a year. I'll be interviewing Althea directly and having that conversation as well. And you'll be getting some updates about the company and where we are and what has happened and where we are going to in moving forward from here. So do sign up. Now, if you are a guest and you have interest to join the SOC, please do contact or connect with the agent or the associate that invited you to this meeting. They will be able to register you and send you a link to join our SOC. It will happen virtually. So please do sign up. And the MCAs will be sending out the Zoom links to all agents in the Keller Williams Malaysia. Next slide, please. We will be having Mega Camp coming up. And I believe Lance and his team may be featured in Mega Camp. I'm not sure. But there'll be many great speakers and great agents that will be sharing their success stories and also be teaching lessons. I think there are many breakout sessions as well. It is happening on a platform called Meeting Play. It's a digital platform. So I encourage all agents, if you want to grow your business, if you want to learn more about the systems and models that Keller Williams is offering, and we are really a very young region. We have just launched September last year. It's just a one-year-old region. There are many things that we could learn. I will encourage everyone to join this mega camp. You'll be hearing, especially from Gary Keller, in his vision speech, to talk about where the market is heading moving forward from here. So that's mega camp. So do sign up and ask your MCA. We do have a bulk purchase for mega camp. Do sign up and ask them for information. Next slide, please. There you go, guys. I know Lance and the team. What are some of your last thoughts that you want to share with all the audience here today? I will leave it to you, to Lance, to kind of coordinate this right now. So,
well, go ahead and start, Amy, and then Detmore, you can jump in after that.
Sure. First off, I just want to say thank you so much for allowing us to join you today and share some insights. We really do believe in giving back and making a positive impact, and I hope that each of you took something of value that you can use in your business. The one thing I will say is just be willing to try it. It may not work, but we're always willing to just see what we could do better or different and test it out. We call them piloting, but we go all in, we see what works and what doesn't, and then we continue to improve. You know, failure is just not trying, but if you keep trying and keep moving forward, eventually that failure turns into great success.
And like Amy said, thank you guys so much for having us this morning. It's been such a pleasure to be here and share with you guys. I would say, you know, my one thing that I would encourage you all to take away from this presentation is Gary Keller always says we're never more than 5 years away from where we want to be. So start with the end in mind. Look at what that 5-year goal is of yours, and then work backwards to figure out what's the one thing that you could do this week or this month or this year that would get you closer to that 5-year goal that you set.
I'm going to echo what the ladies said. Thank you all so much for having us here. We're really just honored that you allowed us to come in and speak with you all. And we hope you guys took away a lot of nuggets for your business. The 3 books that you saw, The Shift, MREA, and The One Thing, read them, use them as tools in your business. They are the foundation training tools for new members of our team. And if you haven't read them, you need to, because they will blow your mind. The One Thing from a time blocking perspective, MREA from the models, and The Shift to help you navigate whatever market your business is in.
A couple of things to share always, especially during times like these, is have gratitude. Have gratitude in your heart and always come with humility. You guys here are here for a reason, starting your day really early with us, and we're so humbled to be here. And one of the things I just want to echo what Amy was saying is just take one thing. You have a presentation and implement it. Give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, awesome, go for something else. Steve Jobs didn't get to where he was because he didn't try, and there's no such word as TRY. We all understand what I'm talking about, right? And so it's really important to give it a shot and never give up, stay positive, keep moving forward. And like Karina said earlier in the chat box, is make sure that you check in with your milestones. Once you've set your goal, make it really big. Share it with as many people as possible. Create a support group around you so that they can hold you accountable, including your kids. And so they can really, you want to make sure you build that moat around you so that you have that continuous support, because life is not easy. We are going to run into speed bumps. And as long as you have gratitude and you keep moving forward and you have a support system like we do here as my second family here at TLG, nothing can stop you.
A year ago, I was having we were in a group with Gary Keller, and he was being asked a few questions. And one of the questions that I'll never forget this was, he said, or somebody asked him, so who are your mentors? And he sat there and he immediately said, books. And it was a really interesting response. And he said, I've learned from people from before me. I'm learning from people today, and I'm sure people are going to be learning from the future. But books can tell you what happened and the experiences that happened with them so that you can learn from those experiences. And from that day forward, I've been reading books on a daily basis, and it has really helped our business. The entire executive team reads a different book together on a consistent basis.
Awesome. Of course, lots of gratitude from our group to yours today for having us here. One of the things that Gary says all the time is really, truly who you surround yourself with matters so much. And if you think about, like, he talks about those 5 folks that are around you, and to really just take a stand for that, you guys, and find folks who will help elevate you. Find folks that motivate you, that you can think with and plan with and celebrate with. I think just by meeting these amazing leaders in our organization, we're so proud to be in business with them, and they make us better every day by being in this TLG game together. And so that honestly is what I would leave you with. And thank you for having us and for us getting to learn from you too. It's just always a great opportunity.
Thank you so much, guys. Guys, if you're watching in the audience, as the audience here right now, I want to take just a couple of minutes to allow everyone here to express your gratitude to the entire Loken group. If you could just express in a single word or a single short sentence or whatever you want to express, do express your gratitude to them. I think they have gone above and beyond what we have expected them to deliver today, and they're taking their time off from their family time. I believe it's 10 o'clock at night right now. Am I right? Guys, yeah, they should be watching something on Netflix and having a good mojito, or Sarah is planning to sleep soon. So, but really, they're taking that comfort time off to really add value to our business and our lives. So I want all of us here to kind of take that time to quickly express your gratitude to all of them who have really taken so much of their effort to deliver such a great presentation. And it's such a great role model for us to see how we could become and how we want to become what you guys have become. So, well, thank you very much. Lance, Sarah San Marceau, Christina, Karina, thank you, Amy. Thank you so much for being that leaders that you are right now. And thank you for leading us in such an example for us to model after. Thank you so much for taking your time. I don't want to take more of your time right now because I'm sure you have a busy day ahead to kind of push that last few days of August to have another record-breaking month. And we wish that your business would do and be that skyrocket in Houston, the Houston area. Now, when the COVID-19 is over, I welcome you to Malaysia. I will definitely make sure that you have great hospitality in Malaysia. We are known for our hospitality and our great food. So if you are a food person, Malaysia is the place to come, right? And I will personally make sure that you get the best hospitality you get here. So thank you so much, guys. I wish you all the best. To the rest of the audience, have a good start of the day. I hope you all have a great month in August as well. For all KW Malaysia, see you at SOC. Thank you so much, guys. Signing off right now.